there, I think we've been able to strike the right balance. Clearly, the markets are suggesting, even though it's very early yet to declare victory, but the markets are suggesting that they have liked the way we've struck this balance. And to strike this balance, we had to rely on three very important things. I just want to describe those very quickly so you understand how we tried to strike that balance between sticking to the fiscal consolidation roadmap of obviously 3.9% and then 3.5% this year, and at the same time, making sure that we are providing enough high quality growth through investment and through further liberalization of the economy. There were three very important things we did. The first thing that we did was we thought very carefully about what we could do through non-tax revenues. And there, of course, we have spectrum, we have disinvestment. And we have tried, and together the two of them at about 99,000 crores and 56,500 crores amount to 1% of GDP. So it's quite a large and substantial number. But we didn't take that decision lightly. There was a lot of work that went into thinking through what is possible in terms of the telecom spectrum side and what is possible as far as disinvestment is concerned. And we've really put a lot of effort into that. Disinvestment, of course, to explain to you and indicate and signal to you what a quantum jump, what a paradigm shift we are making in disinvestment. We have in fact renamed the disinvestment department. It's now called the Department of Investments and Public Asset Management. And that really expands the scope of what we can do there in terms of monetizing your assets, the nation's assets, the public assets. And there, just very quickly, what we have is, of course, we have the opportunity to continue to keep divesting like we did successfully with NTPC. We have an opportunity to list a variety of entities that are not listed today, most notably the general insurance companies, GIC, United India, New India Assurance, which are very valuable companies and market leaders doing extremely well. So that's a big source of revenue for us. Number three, we are going to be creative and innovative about monetizing assets, your assets, the people's assets. As Honorable Finance Minister has already mentioned, we are looking at asset recycling alternatives. And this is where we can take advantage of something that we set up last year, which is the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. Working with NIF, it's possible to go to an NTPC or an NHAI, for example, to find roads that are generating cash, that are brownfield assets, put a portfolio of high-yield assets together, and then monetize that through investors coming in. That's the kind of asset recycling that's possible now. Some of those funds can go back to NHAI and NTPC to continue to invest. Some of that can come back and support the Consolidated Fund of India. So those are the kinds of things. And then finally, we have said very clearly that as far as strategic disinvestment is concerned, we are prepared for doing what is necessary there as and when we can achieve the right values for you all. And as an example of that, we have said we will transform IDBI Bank. And we will really be prepared to transfer control, which is clearly indicated in the budget as well. And that's why we have been able to strike the fiscal balance, because number one, we have really opened the door on the non-tax revenue side. The other very important aspect of being able to manage the fiscal side is we have used off-budgetary resources quite extensively as well. So, for example, we have the 20,000 crore long-term irrigation fund that we are going to do through NABARD, which enables us to turbocharge irrigation without having to support it through the budget. But we've also worked to capitalize NABARD enough so that it can, in fact, issue these irrigation bonds. Similarly, we are creating the higher education financing agency, which will enable us with 1,000 crores of a capital base to be able to have a debt capacity of about 10,000 crores. And one of the very important aspects of financing in the budget is financing higher educational institutions. You'll notice this time that there was no announcement of any IITs or IIMs or AIMs. And we did that explicitly because we feel that there's a lot we can do with now what we have with the existing institutions. And with the financing coming through the Education Financing Agency, we can provide them the support and the facilities so that they can grow and they can really start to compete with the world's best. And there, just a quick tangent, the announcement that we will take 10 public universities and 10 private universities and free them up with a new regulatory architecture so they can compete with the world's best, for all of you in the management world, should be something that is extremely, extremely significant. Because if we need to progress as an economy and innovate, we really need the Cambridges, the MITs, the Stanfords, the Harvards of the world. And we think by doing this, we have an opportunity to really do that. So as I was saying, the use of non-tax revenues, the use of off-budget financing types of vehicles has enabled us in a way to be able to provide the growth without further burdening the fisc. And that's part of what we have done in terms of striking the balance between, as I said, fiscal consolidation and growth. So these are two very important aspects of the budget you might want to consider in terms of striking this balance. I also said that I would talk about 3 areas that I think when people look back on this budget, hopefully 10 years from now, they'll recognize as being quite notable, quite profound in some ways. The first is on public investment. And I've already spoken about what we're doing in terms of the off-budgetary resources. But if you look in the budget and you see what we've done for irrigation, where cumulatively between what we're going to do through NABARD and budgetary support, we will potentially have more than 40,000 crores. 40,000 crores going into irrigation this coming fiscal year. That's sorely needed because there are many, many irrigation projects that are languishing right now. The dams may have been built, but the command areas have not been developed because we've run out of money. So by giving this kind of funding, by really, really front-loading this kind of funding, we can really enable irrigation to take off in a big way. And we've done a similar thing as far as roads are concerned. Between the 27,000 crores we are saying we are going to provide for Gram Sadak Yojana and the 70,000 we are providing for national highways. Again, 97,000 crores going into roads is a massive boost on public investment. And then on railways, we are saying 1.21 lakh crores. I just want to remind you all that in the last year in the UPA government, the total capex that went into railways was 58,000 crores. And we have pushed it up to 1.21 lakh crores. It's not just, ladies and gentlemen, a question of spending money. We also have to build appropriate execution capacity so we can double capex spending. And we've done that as well. So I think what we've done in public investment, roads, irrigation, railways, and higher education, all of this in public investment, not only is terrific in terms of growth, but it's the right kind of investment, high multiplier investment that builds up the productive capacity of the economy and enables us to sustain growth over a long period of time. It's the right kind of expenditure. And that, I think, people will look back, they'll look at the budget last year where we really pushed up CapEx, really use public investment to really start the economy to grow. And then this year, and together the two, I think, really, really set a direction in terms of public investment and really set a new direction altogether. I think that's going to be remembered as something that's profoundly important. The second, I think, very notable accomplishment in this year's budget is what we are doing in terms of social security. What we're doing in social security. Again, the foundation for that was laid last year, ladies and gentlemen, when we really committed ourselves to Jan Dhan, Jeevan Jyoti Bima, Suraksha Bima Yojana, where we started to establish a universal social security architecture. Now this year, with Aadhaar being just, in fact, I was in Parliament when Honorable Finance Minister introduced the new Aadhaar bill as a money bill, with Aadhaar coming in, hopefully being passed, with the payments mechanism that we have lined up against the social security platform, with Aadhaar really being the foundation of it, of course. And what we are doing in terms of building out financial access with ATMs and micro ATMs in every single post office. Does anyone know how many post offices we have in India? 1,55,000. So one of the real challenges in terms of moving to direct benefit transfer and moving to social security in this way, and Honorable PM spoke about that also, which is, we are getting, with Aadhaar, we are getting rid of all the dalali and bicholi that happens, is for that lady in that poor remote village, even if we send her widow's pension into her bank account, how is she going to get access to it? That's a very serious problem we have to think about. Because as Uday knows very well, we don't have enough bank branches and we don't have enough ATMs in India. We have about 2 lakh ATMs in India, but the vast majority, too many of them are in the urban areas, not enough are in rural areas. And that's very obvious because the commercials don't work very well. For bank branches, or for ATMs. So we've had to really think through what is it that we can do with micro ATMs, how can we leverage existing infrastructure so that as a public good, which is why government should fund this, we can ensure an adequate level of access to these financial services. And so this is what that social security platform is about. Aadhaar, payment systems, sufficient access. And then, because we now have this social security platform, ladies and gentlemen, we have the ability not just to put the insurance programs and the NREGA payment on it. And this is the really, really important and the part I'm very, very happy and pleased and proud about, is that we will be able to offer to the vulnerable, the BPL families of this country, we'll be able to offer health insurance. Health insurance. And those of you that have seen how the vulnerable suffer when there is an adverse health event and how catastrophic it can be, to be able to provide these families with 1 lakh of cover and for senior citizens for them an additional 30,000, I think it's not just historic, it's not just a game changer, it is all something that we as citizens should be proud of, because it shows that we are a humane and compassionate society. I think this is really, really serious. It's really profound that we have a social security platform where we can protect the vulnerable in this way. I think history should hopefully remember us for this. And then the third part. The third part is what we're doing to transform the tax ecosystem. Now, all of you are in business. Each one of you, I'm sure, has any number of anecdotes and incidents and stories about how you have been harassed and the tax people have bothered you and why there's tax terrorism rampant in this country. We've heard those stories. We've suffered those stories ourselves. We recognize that. And so what we are trying to do, what we tried to do in the last budget and in this budget, we are really transforming that tax ecosystem. We're really trying our level best, and obviously if you have other great suggestions, let us know. We are all ears to see how we can really transform this. But ladies and gentlemen, the whole idea of presumptive taxation up to 2 crores for small and medium businesses, up to 50 lakhs for professionals, where you just fill up 1 sheet of paper and just submit it and say, this is my taxes. What a relief. What a relief for small and micro businesses and middle class taxpayers. What a relief. Then we are doing a whole host of other things in terms of trying to settle a lot of the litigation quickly, ensure that there aren't too many punitive assessments, that the interaction between the tax authorities and the taxpayers are online and as convenient as possible, to be able to settle cases as quickly as possible. I think the sum total of all of this, when you add it up, I hope you will recognize with me, is a breakthrough. And it is really a great demonstration of what we are trying to do when we say we want a simple, predictable, fair tax system. So those are the kinds of things that I think you should really, really recognize, hopefully, and appreciate in this budget. We have been working tirelessly for many, many months. My colleagues in the Ministry of Finance, the Honorable Finance Minister, and all of our other colleagues across all other ministries, all of the wonderful suggestions that we've received from all of you, from the public, has gone into this. And I think at the end of the day, people are appreciating it. Yes, of course, there are issues we know about the Provident Fund and so on. We'll obviously take that into account. As Honorable Finance Minister has already said, the reply will come in Parliament because that's the right place to deal with it. And so we will, of course, take all of this into account when we move the finance bill. But once again, thank you for your support. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to work on your behalf and to be able to prepare a budget like this. I hope you appreciate it. We are all ears. We are always open and willing to listen to constructive suggestions and feedback. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, sir, for your presence here today. And I'm sure that the audience is raring to ask a few questions regarding the budget and a few other issues. So, with the...
We will take 2 questions from the floor. I thought I saw Sunil itching to ask. Sunil, the first one.
You're right, Mr. Minister, about the social security network. I think it is highly appreciated, by the way. And as is EPF, as potentially was a part of that, that same initiative, I guess. One of the questions which is being asked is, you use taxation as a tool for revenue collection and also for directionally telling people what is good and what is desirable or not desirable at that point in time. While many of the exemptions that have gone away are quite okay and welcome, you also reduce the incentive for innovation and R&D. At the time today when India wants to stand up and be counted, I think one of the tools we need to sharpen is innovation and R&D. Would there be a consideration to pick 4 or 5 things which are required and desirable for India and still continue the incentive